Hey, so Winter Solstice is coming up. Winter Solstice is this Wednesday, which, for those of you who are coming, is awesome because it's our Qigong class on Wednesday night. So we're going to get to go deep in and explore some of the Winter Solstice in class, but I wanted to do and give you a bit of prep work for this. And that's part of understanding what Winter Solstice is about, but also giving you a really powerful exercise to be able to do in your own time. That'll really help you with this transition and to make the most out of this point. So the Winter Solstice is the dark point. It's the shortest day. So light's the least amount of time during the 24-hour cycle, and the darkness, the blackness, is the biggest amount of time. And we're coming right down to a dark moon, so there's going to be a lot of beautiful, powerful darkness to explore in this. And what's powerful and important to see in this is the yin point. This is the point where the energy has really come in. It's a deep place for, that's internal expansion. So the yang is an external expansion. Yin, when we come fully into center, fully to the core of who we are, begin looking at our inner power, our sense of potential, our sense of what we can do, and we look to expand inwards and make that deep well a deeper place to be able to come from. So, one thing to understand with this is the celestial and terrestrial seasons, because this is the depth of winter in the celestial seasons. So celestial and terrestrial seasons. Terrestrial are the seasons that we experience, that we feel around us. So often for us, like, it's only kind of almost feeling like it's really just getting into winter. Probably over the next month or so, we feel like we're plunged right into the heart of winter. That's because there's a bit of a lag between what's happening on the sort of celestial astronomical level and actually what's happening here on Earth. In a sense, things are still cooling, things are coming down, but the energy has actually changed. This point, the winter solstice, is right at the heart of it. It's the point where the metal energy, and the metal energy is that drawing down, drawing in, it's the pulling down from the heavens to the earth and coming down into the yin, down into the deep pool of water. It's where that energy ends and finishes, and it's no more. And what grows from that ending is the wood energy, the uprising energy, the beginning of expansion. So the days start getting, at first imperceptibly, but they start getting longer. It starts arising into spring. Things start blossoming and moving. Well, eventually, it can take a little while to get there, but it's a really important point. And as Qigong practitioners, as cultivators of our vitality and our energy, this is something we're keenly aware of. There's a different energy we can begin cultivating. There's a real new, different quality that we can begin tapping into and drawing on and working with in ourselves. So part of the thing that's potent about this is it's a real center point. So I characterize this as the place of the archetype of the king. It's right where the king's throne sits. All paths lead to the king. All paths come down. It's that yin. It's like everything coming in. And the king looks at all the information, all that has been, all that's occurred, everything he knows, and then decides about the next point, the next emergent. He has the vision. Here's that bridge between what's unmanifest and begins to go, okay, from what's unmanifest, this is what we're going to manifest. Here's the command. Here's what I'm going to send out. Here's what I'm going to structure. But he doesn't do that stuff. He sets the vision. He talks. He decides. He works. He opens. He orders the realm. Works out what's going to happen next, what's got to carry through. And there's a whole huge cycle of day or of year to take all of this into actuality, to explore, to try, to work with, to attempt to manifest into actual being, the vision of the king. in that point. It's a really potent place. My invitation for you was to spend some time, begin to get familiar with that throne, feeling in a sense of your sovereignty, as you are the one who decides what happens in your life. Fundamentally, because you decide what your relationship to everything is. Yes, random shit happens. There's things that happen and occur that you don't have any control over, but you do have control over your relationship to it. That's fundamentally the most important thing. It's far more important than what happens. Well, in nearly every instance, there's meteorites hitting, things like that, which is game over. There's not necessarily a lot of choice about relationship to that, but, in the realm of everyday life, certainly, things are going to happen to us. It's a really powerful and important acknowledgement to make, and stepping into energy within ourselves. So what's really interesting about this point is it's not just one point. There's a little phase here. So most cultures, rephrase, in many cultures on the earth, there was actually a celebration that happened 3 days after this point. And that's characterized if we look at where Christmas is. So Christmas is the winter solstice kind of event of Christianity in the Northern Hemisphere. And what that was originally a celebration of was the rebirth of the sun. So there was the solstice, the winter solstice, this full sort of death of the sun. And then 3 days later, it was considered that it was at this point the sun was reborn, the sun was emerged. So you'll notice some interesting things in language here with Christian faith. So it's at this point that there was actually a massive celebration, a real opening, a real gifting and celebration of life and potential, and like, yes, the sun's come back, we've got another year, the sun's not going to go away, I'm not going to die in ice and darkness, basically. So it was like actually a powerful transformation point between those in those 3 days from the winter solstice for the next day. It's not just on that point, but there's a depth, a process you can go to on both a physical level, but also on a deep archetypal subconscious level to understand and explore. And one really cool thing about this year is on Saturday, which is this 3-day point, there's a new moon. So the moon itself is rebirthing at the same time the sun's rebirthing. So what's this mean? This means there's actually a powerful time, a powerful energy here to reset, to renew, to go, you know what, there's all this old stuff which I'm ready to die. I'm going to let go of it. It's not going to be anymore. And I'm going to step into something new. I'm going to be the one who creates. I'm going to be the one who decides. I'm going to be the one who manifests something new. I'm going to decide a new direction, decide a new project, do something I've been meaning to do for ages. It's a powerful energy, sort of turbo booster, bit of fuel, charge that can come from this point and empower your actions and empower who you are and what it is you're doing. So how do you do that? How do you make the most of that? I encourage you to have this period, be yin, sleep a lot, rest, do a lot of meditation, do some really yin qigong practices like the qigong that I've been teaching, collecting in, bringing in, really coming into center. And yeah, one important and powerful thing to really keep in mind around this setting something new and deciding your direction is letting it gestate, letting it open, letting it really have the time and the deep well and the pot, in letting it brew, letting it bubble, not trying to act too quickly. It's like one of the powerful things we do in Qigong, and as Qigong practitioners and as Taoists, is waiting for the time when the action is right. So I might have an idea, but like, okay, where's the most powerful time to strike and to move? Often in the depth of winter, it's not necessarily that time. There's an idea, I want to do something new. I want to set a new direction. It's like, okay, explore, digest, what's my relationship to it, getting everything really deeply aligned, and at some point they'll become, oh, now's the time to move. And that time could be as soon as you think of it, but it might not be, and often it's actually not. It's allowing a time of gestation, allowing a time for things to move, to bubble, to get to a point where it's like, yeah, now. is the most potent time for this to act, to move, to shift on, to really find its straps. And having the rest, having the fuel, having the wisdom, having the right alignment and relationship to what it is you want to do, what it is you want to create, is a really potent and powerful path. Okay, so now, really practical exercise to do. It's a really good thing just to kind of write down what I'm about to go through, and if you want to do that, kind of pause it as I go through if you want a bit more depth to it, or just listen to it and enjoy and see what happens and make a few notes and do it afterwards. So this is the structure of something I've actually started doing every day, but I'm going to do even more in depth for the winter solstice. So it's basically initially to do a review. And there's 3 sections to this. One is, so over the last year, or even over the day if you're doing it as a daily thing, what's brought you joy? What have you loved that you've done or accomplished? What has brought you happiness? So just writing down all that stuff that's just like, yeah, this feels really good. I love that I've done this. It's been satisfying to do this. And really writing down and connecting, or thinking about and connecting with all of those things. So if you want to write that down now, pause it now, take a little note to do that later, and then continue. The next thing is to write down what are those things you feel negatively about. So what are the things you judge yourself about, or feel a bit of shame about, or whatever it is. What are those things you wish you hadn't have done, that you did, that just don't sit right, or people you let down, or places been out of your integrity, or whatever it is. And really fully just like acknowledge those things, because they're all lurking around in there anyway. Yeah, they're all sitting there in you. So it's writing them down, getting them out, acknowledging those things, and not going into any story around them, just acknowledgement. Just hear this and this and this. So again, if you want to following this along with the live and want to press pause, do so, and then come back again. So the next bit, I want you to write down what it is you procrastinated. Some of this may be related to the last one, that it's different. It's a different quality of action quite often. So what are those things that you haven't done, that you've put off, that you've prioritized over other things you would have really loved to do, but you just didn't quite get there? Again, whether this day or whether it's over the last year, might even be things you set yourself last time. You're going, yeah, I'm going to do this, and you spent an entire year not doing it. Or you set yourself at the start of the day and you just didn't get around. You prioritized other things, or the activities you did choose to do blew out and took up too much time. What is it that you procrastinated? So again, pause, and then start again, if you're going along with that. Otherwise, you made a few notes, or you've had a time to think about it. You've just been like, this is interesting. Anyway, so there's these things. So leaving all of those there for a moment, just written down. And it'd be a good thing to turn to a new page and do something on a new page. So I'm going to invite you to do now is do a little creative writing exercise. So if you're reflecting in 3 years' time, or kind of seeing another video by me or something like that, in 3 years' time, what would you have to have achieved both professionally and personally to feel satisfied with your progress? So I want you to write this in first person, as if it's happening, as if it's you in winter solstice in 3 years' time. So it'll be 2020. Kind of just writing down, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what's happened. This is where I've journeyed over the last 3 years. This is what's gone on for me. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be as short or as long as you want. It's a really powerful exercise to do. So I'll just say, like, really encourage you to go for it and think and write and create just some of that story. Get that out and really connect fully with that self in 3 years' time, and what you were just as alive in you for that self to have accomplished, to have done. It doesn't have to be outrageous. It can be small advancements. It can be big. Just what is it? What would be exciting for you? It's okay. Pause point if you're doing this along with the video. And now, having written that piece out about where you want to be, about what you want to do, have a look at what you've procrastinated in particular, and also what you've judged or felt negative about or happiness about, and what's your relationship to those. So those things you procrastinated, one of those, if you prioritized it, would have the most benefit to get you to the point where you want to be in 3 years. And the things that you feel joy or happiness or love about, what out of those things, if you really cultivated, keep committed to those and having more of that, would make the most difference to you in 3 years' time? And those things you felt negative about or judged or whatever, what out of those do you never want to do again? And some of that might be underlying behavior rather than the actual thing, but really spend some time thinking about those. Happiness and joy, what is it you're going to have more of and to do? The negative stuff, what is it you're going to go like, that I'm never going to do again. I'm really going to look at exactly how I need to not ever do that, be in that situation, do that thing, put off that stuff, be in a way in which this thing that I did, I never have that particular turd sitting on my plate, basically. And procrastination, yeah, what is it that's actually bringing that unmanifest, that space of potential into actuality? And you look at procrastination, I often look at it as like a big pot of gestating potential. You turn around and look at it, see what it is you want to pull out of that pot. It's powerful. There's so much depth and resonance and juice in there for you to draw on. And it's got a charge to it. Look at it, get really real with it, stare it right in the eye, and just choose like between 1 and 3 things from each of these. And then take these forward into what are you going to do new? So what is it you're going to let go of and go, yeah, I'm not doing that. Don't necessarily choose the whole list if you've got a big one. Just choose a couple of things. Cut out a couple of weeds. There's a couple of things like those. They're going to be focused, going to be a really clarity. Those negative things, you take it to the positive side. So what if you did it would mean that those wouldn't happen again. Yeah? With happiness and joy, yeah, just staying on the positive side of things is actually cultivating, and it may even be related to that. It's like what? If you commit to it, if you deepen it, if you really strengthen it, it's going to have you feeling just awesome. And again, it might be looking at underlying principle rather than just events. So a particular event that you felt really joyful about, what was it in that? What quality of self really brought that alive and made a difference for you? And the procrastination, so this is an interesting one. What's the commitment you need to make? So often we procrastinate because we don't feel like we've got the confidence to actually undertake it, to do it. But confidence only comes when we've got the capability. Confidence only comes when we've done something before. With the new things, the really new stuff, it's easy to procrastinate them because we don't feel like we've got the capability or the courage or the commitment to do it because we kind of want to feel like we can do it first. That's the wrong way around. Make a commitment and find the courage. Leap off that cliff. Leap into the unknown. What if you just buckle up your commitment to it and your courage and go, I'm just going to do this and I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to feel out of my depth. I'm going to actually, this probably make me times feel like I struggle. I don't know what I'm doing and it might even be really hard. But that's where the growth is. That's where the depth is. That's where the real warrior energy that comes in with the wood, comes in with the uprising energy, really comes into its own and helps us to go, yep, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to make this thing happen. I'll just get as far along with it as I can. Because you've got a cause. So in writing all of this, in this depth, what is your vision for self? What is growing? What are you going to gestate? What are you going to make real and stay in that place of the king in the throne, particularly over the 3 days? We can get clear on that vision, really sit in this. And find your desire, find your aliveness in you. And out of this exercise, what does it strike you about who you want to be? What you want to grow? What is your creating? This is all, pretty much all within your power to do and to create and to make real. And what, particularly on the yin side of things, what needs to be to make this? How much energy? How much rest? How much charge in the tank? how much underlying development of the vision, of your ideas, of your structure, of your strength, of your sense of self is going to make a real difference to hitting the ground running when that time is right to strike and to take action. So on that, make an awesome winter, make an awesome solstice, make an awesome, deep, nurturing, potent, powerful night and winter, and nourish yourself and step fully into your power to create. See you soon.